First is a quote from an interview that Hillary Clinton made in 2008 with Larry King during the 2008 primary. I'm making this slightly out of context, but I don't think it really matters what the context of the following statement is. So Larry King asks, so maybe a Republican or two in the cabinet? They're talking about bipartisanship, right? Clinton responds, I think we should look at that. We need to try to have a bipartisan government. We've got to restore confidence and competence to the American government. Now, this is something that if you look into Clinton's history, and she's certainly not the only person in Washington that talks like this. In fact, Obama talks like this quite a bit. Um, but when they talk about that, what with Clinton specifically, what she's trying to get across is that um, she agrees with Republican positions on a lot of national security things, particularly. Um, and when she's saying, do we need to have a bipartisan government? We need to have confidence and competence. Um, and we do that by bringing Republicans into the cabinet. I mean, she does. It doesn't say it here, but we all know that she's specifically talking about Republicans in a national security role. And in fact, that's something that happened in the Obama presidency. I mean, you had Bill Gates. Sorry, not Bill Gates, but Robert Gates. Um, I don't. Actually, I think Bill Gates is a Democrat, but Robert Gates was the defense secretary. You had the head of the FBI as a Republican. In fact, Obama has brought a lot of Republicans into those sorts of law and order type positions. Um, and I think there's a lot of arguments that that's been kind of a disaster. Um, Not clear to me how much of that had to do with Clinton's urging, but because Clinton was one of the loudest voices in the Obama administration regarding law and order or foreign policy type things, it's probably fairly likely. And I think that the takeaway is that you should expect that to continue. Clinton will likely bring in some Republicans. In fact, we can even probably throw some names around. I think Condoleezza Rice is a likely, or at least I think she wants to pull her in. I've heard people talking about Colin Powell. Brent Scowcroft is another person or another name I've heard thrown around. Um, People that are attached to the old Republican law and order and foreign policy establishment. There's been a lot of talk about whether Hillary is really the if she's the real hawk in the race. If she's if you want to if you want to carry on with the Bush Cheney legacy, Clinton's the one that you really want to support. I think that they may have both candidates in their pocket at the end of the night. But certainly Clinton, I believe, and I think that she's made it clear herself, is rather eager to carry on that legacy. And that's really what she's talking about here. You won't see a Republican, as labor secretary or something. As the health secretary, probably not. She's talking specifically about foreign policy when she says that. Makes you think.